They are for Dominic Afonso's apartment
Planned residential development.
and residential development. This is for the definitive, and that is the rest of the submission.
Okay.
They give you a blank check and put
No,
numbers in it?
for the record, we have two checks, one in the amount of $14,850 and one in the amount of $1,400.
Okay.
Thank you.
Blanket showing, that's what it is.
We have no 81P plans. We have a ZBA special permit referral for 467 East Main Street. The applicant requests a ZBA special permit to allow for the construction of a single-family dwelling on the subject non-conforming property. The lot is non-conforming as to area and width. The prior house, which has been constructed in the 1880s, has been raised. The proposed new house would comply with all setback requirements. All other applicable zoning requirements appear to be met, therefore Larry is recommending favorable be passed on to the ZBA.
Looks good.
Yeah, looks fine to me.
Pleasure of the board.
I move we send a favorable report to the zoning board.
Motion by John.
How about just, where
Let me just get a
Where are
second,
we?
then we can.
I got a second right there.
Second by Lena. Discussion?
are we on East Main Street?
Almost up to Wildwood. Almost under the Holliston line.
Right-hand side of the road.
Yeah. I don't have any problem with the house whatsoever, I'm just wondering why they need two driveway entrances on that road. I mean, we've had various complaints of speed and all that, having two driveway entrances and that type of, additional people coming out of possibly both entrances and stuff is probably not the best thing in the world. The house I have no problem with.
I'm curious if, because it's the pastor's house, that he's anticipating the congregation from time to time, and that's probably why he's put in a circular drive. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking.
I was thinking of that, but then if we were doing this as a commercial venue, I don't know that we would have allowed two entrances on there to begin with, too. That's sort of what I was thinking, but then I'm saying, okay, if this came in as some form of commercial venue, I don't know that my design would be one in favor of having two entrances into a commercial section either, so I guess that's my only issue is the house I have no problem with, but I do have an issue with the driveway the way it is.
You put it in one, you can put in two after anyway without any.
That's fine, but I can say what I would
I'm
rather see
not,
too.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying the end result is,
Can't be the same.
Well, they can stipulate that in the zoning. They can tell them you can only have one driveway as part of their decision. In this case.
That's a point.
doesn't,
So would you suggest that a
Well,
letter
there's a-
follow
There's a
it?
motion unless
There's
John
a
wants to
motion,
amend
yeah.
his
Oh, okay.
motion. John?
You want to amend it?
It's up-
Well,
Yeah.
It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, amend it to eliminate double driveway.
Okay, a motion made by John to allow the construction of the single-family home with the provision that only one curb cut be allowed.
There you go.
Seconded by Lena.
Yep,
Any further discussion? Hearing not. All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Maybe top letter. We have a ZBA permit referral for 19 Church Street. The applicant requests a ZBA special permit to allow for the enclosure of a front porch on the subject non-conforming three-family dwelling. The building is non-conforming as to the number of units. It's also non-conforming as to the front yard setback with only 1.8 feet of setback at the closest points. 25 feet is required. The applicants proposed the conversion of a portion of the existing front porch into habitable space as part of the first floor unit. Plan also shows the finishing of a basement area. However, it is unclear if this isn't in fact another separate apartment. Therefore, Larry's recommendation is unfavorable to the ZBA.
I think the building official had the same concerns.
what, Larry?
I think the building official has the same concerns that I just noted in my memo.
Right.
Pleasure of the board?
They're really squeezing their things in there, aren't they?
Well, again, I think to turn a porch.
Yeah,
make
without-
it-
without
make
no-
it-
without-
Make it into,
Yeah, without knowing the use, I agree with Larry's letter. I mean, you know, it looks like this is more habitable space than anything else, and whether it's an attempt to increase the number of units or, you know, if they were just enclosing it as a
three-season.
three-season room or something, I wouldn't have but if they're gonna
Right.
open it, if they're then gonna open up the rest of the house as additional living space,
And it
then,
doesn't say,
then I
what-
agree.
and
Yeah,
they don't say what's
say.
down in the basement either.
Right, so
Right, they don't go into the basement area.
What's the pleasure
I
of the
have a
board?
motion, we send an unfavorable recommendation to the zoning board based on the comments in the town planner's letter.
Motion by Joe, seconded by Babe. Any further discussion? Hearing not, all in favor of the unfavorable? Unanimous of 5. Thank you. And then we have a ZBA variance for 16 Elizabeth Road. The applicant requests a ZBA variance to allow for the placement of a 10 by 14 accessory building on the subject property to be 1.6 feet from the side property line. 15 is required. The proposed shed is one of 3 sheds previously located in this area of the lot, at least 2 of which have been improperly situated with regards to the side yard setback. It appears that all 3 sheds have been removed to accommodate drainage work, and the current proposal now is to reestablish one of them, again, within the 1.6 of the side property line. Addressing the drainage situation notwithstanding, it appears that any hardship is effectively self-created by the applicant. Therefore, Larry is recommending unfavorable be reported to the ZBA.
Why don't they move it away further instead of 1.6?
Just to clarify that that shed wasn't, there was a small wood shed that was probably 10 feet by 4 feet, like an open front, no doors, in that position. That was removed, and then the 10 by 14 shed was moved in its place.
So they moved the larger shed, so now the backside of that shed is now facing our property. And then they put up a fence, so that the fence is now, there's fence, then the shed, the backside of the shed is being used as a piece of fence. And then the fence continues on. So it's a 6-foot fence, a 12-foot shed, and a 6-foot fence.
Could you have your names, please, just for the record, just so we know?
John and Patricia Halpin.
Alpin, did you say?
Yeah, Halpin.
Address?
18 Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Pleasure of the board.
What's the well points for drainage, Larry? Is that what they're showing on this plan? With the well points? Are they trying to do drawdown because they got water in the basement or something?
No, there had been a drainage problem. The town had done some work there, and then apparently the property owner had done some more. It's not clear whether they in fact exacerbated the problem with the work they did or not. And then there wasn't a plan for any of that. That's why the sheds were moved, and now they put one of the sheds, the larger shed, as the butters had just mentioned, is the one they put closest to the property line where the wood shed used to be. So it's just a mess,
Okay.
basically. That's a technical term.
Make a motion, we send an unfavorable recommendation to the zoning board, again, based
second.
on the
I'll second that one.
town planner's letter.
Motion by Joe, seconded by John. Any further discussion? Hearing not. All in favor?
I,
Unanimous of 5, unfavorable to the ZBA.
That will have to go to the zoning board, that's the final decision.
Ultimately, they make the decision. Thank you, and have a good night.
Good luck with zoning.
And this concludes the meeting.
Speak up when
Thank
you're
you,
there.
and have a good night.
speak up when you're there.